today we're doing lesson 2.6, relate fractions to benchmarks. So we've already done the math warm-up on page 58, and now we are on looking at 59. It says greater than or less than 1 whole. For each diagram, we're going to name the fraction the point represents, and then decide is that fraction greater than or less than 1 whole. And then we're going to talk about how far it is from 1 whole. So the first one gives us this number line right here. And if we look and see, we've got 0 here and 1 here. So to figure out what our denominator is, we need to count the tick marks that start here and end at 1 whole. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what's our denominator going to be?
1, 10.
No, our denominator.
Oh, 10.
10. Okay. And now, what's our numerator going to be for this
9.
one? Zerelda?
9, 10.
9 tenths. Okay, so Zerelda can have a point, Emma. So 9 tenths. So over here next to A, I want you guys to write 9 tenths. And then we need to answer the question, is 9 tenths greater than or less than 1 whole? Raise your hand if you want to answer that question. Cameron, is 9 tenths greater than or less than 1 whole? Less than, because 9 tenths is closer to 0 than 1 whole is. So we're going to write next to B less than 1. I kind of crammed that in there, but less than 1. And then, what is the distance from 9 tenths to 1 whole? So what do we have to add to 9 tenths to get 1 whole? Jackson? 1. No. Fisher? 1/10. Because if we're at 9 tenths, to get from 9 tenths to 10 tenths, we add 1/10. Does that make sense? Okay. So Emma, give Fisher a point. Okay. So we're done with that one. I thought you were saying it when you said 1 tick mark. I thought you were going to say 1/10, and I was like, yeah, no. Okay, here we go. This next one, we're going to do the same thing to find our bottom number, okay? We're going to start and count. Let's do jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to stop right there, Fisher. We don't go all the way to the dot. We just go to 1 whole. And so when we counted, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means our denominator for all of these is going to be 5. What fraction would our tick mark or our dot be at? Avis?
6.
6 what?
6 fifths.
6 fifths, that's correct. Give Avis a point, 6 fifths. And so we're going to write that next to A, 6 fifths. So is 6 fifths less than or greater than 1? Jackson?
Probably
Greater than. When your bottom number is, or when your top number is bigger, that means it's greater than 1 whole. Because when it's 1 whole, the number would be 5 fifths, right? And so we go past that. So 6 fifths is greater than 1. And then how far away is 1 whole from 6 fifths? Autrey?
It's 1/5.
Yes. 1/5. Yep. And And so it's one, that does not look like 1/5. 1/5 away from the whole, okay? All right. Number 3. Here they just gave us a half. Fisher, I need you to set up, please, okay? Here they just gave us a half. So, but they didn't give us a 1. So we've got to figure out where the 1 would be. So we're going to count to 1/2 and know that this point is half of our whole. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What is 4 half of?
8.
8. So that means this point is 4/8. And then if we kept going, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, 8/8. This would be one whole right here, or 8/8. So what would our missing fraction be, Avis?
9/8.
9/8, that's correct. Emma, will you give Avis a point? So 9/8 is our missing, or is our point. Is 9/8 greater than or less than one whole? Colton? Greater than, good. Colton gets a point, Emma. Greater than 1. And how far away is 9/8 from one whole? How far away is that? Evan?
9/10.
Nope, how far away? So if you go back up here, look at what we did over here. What's one whole? 5/5. Right? So in other words, how many jumps do you make to get from one whole to 6? That would be one jump and the denominators are 5. Does that make sense? Now, Evan, how many jumps do you make to get from 9/8 to 8/8?
10. Wait.
How many jumps?
1.
1. And what size are all of these jumps? What's the bottom number going to be?
8.
8. So 1/8. Does that make sense? Okay. So 1/8. And then we're over here. So they've given us this fraction that's 1/4. So if this is 1/4, what would this be?
2/4.
3/4.
5/4.
4/4.
5/4.
5/4. So our point then is at 5/4. Todd, you writing this down?
Just go get the pencil.
Okay. And then, is 5/4 greater than or less than one whole? Mary. So one whole, if we're counting, remember the same number goes on top and bottom. So if we go 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. So 4/4 or one whole would be right here, right? Does that make sense? Greater than. We're used to thinking of one whole as being down here, right? Is that what you were thinking? Yes. So, so 4/4 is right here, which is one whole. So 5/4 is actually greater than one whole. And because it's further away, you can also tell just by looking at a fraction if it's bigger than a whole. What do you notice about those numbers? Colton?
Usually the numerator wouldn't be bigger than the denominator, but it's an odd fraction, so it's like the two numbers are swapped.
Yeah,
Places.
because fractions usually have a smaller number on top, don't they? when you see a fraction like this, it's means it's bigger than a whole, right? Because 1 whole is 4/4. Good work, Colton. Colton gets a point, Emma. All right, you're rocking and rolling today. All right. So if it goes past, or if the bigger number's on top, then it's always bigger than 1 whole. Did you get that? So Macy, when the bigger number's on top, it's wobbly. Okay? So it's greater than 1 whole. What about how far is the distance from 4/4 to 5/4? Mary? 1/4, that's correct. Mary gets a point, Emma. Okay? All right. Normally we would do our card sort here. You've not been writing what you're supposed to write. And you're supposed to write, no, you're supposed to write the words greater than or less than. You copy what I copy. Okay. All right, so we're gonna skip page 60 and go on to 61. And we're gonna do the same. So everybody go to 61. You're gonna have to fix it. So everybody on 61? Yeah. Okay. So it says greater than or less than half. For each diagram, name a fraction the point represents. Is that fraction greater than or less than half? And how far is it from 1/2? All right, so let's look at the first one. We need to decide, Audrey, what our denominator. You guys are tired today, aren't you? All right. Ari, are you tired? No. You're over there. Okay, all right. Here we go. Oh no, I dropped my pen. There it goes. Okay. So we have to decide. You guys can't be as tired as me because I'm way older. I need way more sleep.
You need more coffee.
All right, let's do this. Okay, we've got a 0 here and a 1 here. Let's count how many sections there are between 0 and 1 whole. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our denominator, sit up guys, our denominator is going to be 6 on all of these. Okay? And at 1 whole, it's going to be 6, 6. Okay, write that down. Now, we have to find out what this point represents, and if all of our fractions are 6 size parts, we're going to go 1/6, 2/6. Okay, so for part A, we're going to write down the fraction 2/6. Now for B, it wants to know, is 2/6 greater than or less than 1/2? Who can raise their hand and tell me what half of 6 is? Todd? What's half of 6? No, just listen to my question. So your mom makes 6 cookies. She says, Todd, you can only have half of them. How many cookies do you get? No, she makes 6. You only get half of them. How many is that?
Oh, I get 3.
You get 3. Exactly right. So half of 6 is 3, right? So Todd gets 3 out of 6 cookies. So there's the half point. Okay, you see where the half point is? So is 2/6 greater than or less than half? Todd? Greater is going to be
Less than.
so 2/6 is less than, because do you see 2/6 is closer to 0? So 2/6 is going to be less than half. Now, the question is, how far away is it from 1/2? So from 2/6 to 3/6, the distance is
1.
1 what?
Jump. No, half.
1/6. Once we start using a denominator, Evan, that denominator we use for the whole thing. Does that make sense? 1/6. Okay. So get that copied down. 2/6 less than half and 1/6. Number 2. We gotta find what this point is. They've given us our denominator already, which is handy. So this is 1/4.
2/4.
2/4.
3/4. 4/4.
Okay, so here is our point, which is 4/4 or 1/2. So our point is at 4/4. Is 4/4 greater than or less than half? Colton?
Greater than.
Greater than. Colton gets another point, Emma. It's greater than half because it's a whole. If you eat a whole pizza and your friend eats half a pizza, you definitely ate more pizza if you eat a whole. So 1 whole is greater than half. Now where would half be? Colton?
Right here.
Oh, so we're going between 0 and 1 whole. What would be right in the middle between those two? That one. So what fraction would that be if it's right there?
2/4.
Yes. Is 2 half of 4?
Yes.
Yes. So here's our half point. Here's 2/4. So how far do you, Colton gets another one. He got there, Emma. Fisher, how far do you go to get from 4/4 to 2/4? How many jumps do you have to make? 2/4. Yes, it's 2/4 away. I asked you a question that you answered. I asked it in jumps. So yeah. So 2/4 is the answer. So we have 4/4 greater than half and 2/4. Okay. Fisher gets a point, Emma. Okay. Now, we gotta find out what this is. They've given us 7/8. So we can count backwards to it. What's 1 less than 7/8?
6.
8.
5 8. 4 8.
3/8. So we're going down by 1/8 each time. So it would be 6/8, 5/8, 4/8, 3/8. What's half of 8? Audrey?
4.
4. So that means that right here is going to be our half point. Right here is 4/8 or 1/2. So how far away from 3? Oh wait. First, is 3/8 greater than or less than half? Ari? Less than half because it's closer to 0. And what is the distance from 3/8 to 4/8? Colton?
1.5. No. 1/8.
Yes, you got it. Yes. Colton gets another one. Colton, you're doing awesome today. Is this stuff making sense to you? Good work. Good deal. Okay, we're on the last one and then we'll do our card sort. Okay. Devin, are you excited for the card sort?
No, not really.
Just please my heart. Say, Mrs. Peterson, I cannot wait.
Okay. I
Okay.
can't wait for it.
Good deal. All right. So here we have a 0, a 1 whole, and a point. We got to figure out what our denominator is first. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means on all these fractions, our bottom number is 5. What's our top number on this one? Macy, how many jumps do we make?
2.
2. 2/5 is our, Macy gets a point. Okay, so A is 2/5. Now, is 2/5 greater than or less than half? What do you think?
Oh, I know this one. Wait, can it
Hazel,
be?
what do you think? It is less. So we're going to put less than half. And this is a super tricky one. Okay,
I know this one.
think about this for a second. Let me see what you wrote down. Write it down, Fisher. Let me see if you got it.
Wait, I do too.
I'm talking about C. This one's tricky. No.
I think
I know. Okay.
I definitely
Have a seat. Oh, I thought, okay. No.
It's equal.
No. Okay.
It's
All
on
right.
50.
No. Okay. All right. Nobody's got it. Okay, so think for just a second. Devin, you think you got it? Think you got C? I'm looking for C. Okay, the distance. Hold on. Okay, watch.
It's equal.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cookies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to split them evenly with a friend. 1 for you, 1 for your friend, 2 for you, 2 for your friend. Now you've got 1 cookie left, so of course you have to do what?
Split it.
Split it in half. So that means half of 5 is 2 1/2. Okay, hold on, that's not the answer, okay? Because if 2 is right here, that means 2 1/2 would be right there. That's the middle. Now, what fraction represents this point right here? I mean, hang on. Let me backtrack. So this fraction is 2 1/2 fifths. Okay. What is the distance from right here to right here? What is that distance?
1/5.
Nope.
1/2. 1 centimeter.
Nope.
I was 1 centimeter when I was a baby.
You don't need a ruler. Devin?
1/3.
No. Zerelda?
1 1/2.
No. Jackson? You're on the right track, but no. What you're meaning to say is half of a fifth, because our jumps are what size? They're 1/5, right? So each one of our jumps, so from 0 to 1 is 1/5, from 1/5 to 2/5 is 1/5, but we're jumping half. What do you think, Avis?
3 1/2.
Nope. Autrey?
Half of it.
It is half a fifth, but what fraction does half of a fifth equal? Evan?
3.
Nope. Fisher? Okay, Jackson? No. There's not 3 of anything, guys. We're only making one little
this
jump.
one. I know this.
Haziel? No. That 5/10 would be this point right here. So we're we're just jumping from 2/5 to 2.5/5.
Wait.
Oh, this should be a half. Sorry.
What?
Hang on, I messed one thing up real quick. This is 2.5/5. Okay. Devin, I'm not gonna call on you if you're making noise.
1/6.
No. Do you guys remember, put your hands down. We've spent enough time on this. Do you remember last week when we had number lines and we had number lines like this? Okay.
Yeah.
0, let's see. Okay. And this was one whole. So let's count these. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be 1/4. This would be 2/4. 3/4, right?
4/4. Oh.
Right. But what did we do when we needed to find the space in between? You remember? Ari? Avis?
1/10.
That is 1/10. You are correct. Does that make sense? Okay, because I'm getting ready to show you.
Wait, now I got it.
Because remember, if we cut each section in half, right? We have twice as many jumps.
It's
So, you
2/5 plus
put your arms in your
2/5.
sleeves. Okay? So this would be 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and 8/8, right? So if we're jumping half of the distance, we have to cut all of the sections in half again. So where did I put my pen? I keep setting it down. Okay. Watch. Here's what I'm gonna do. I need to cut all of these sections in half. And when I do that, how many sections do I have now? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I look here, this is 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10. So the difference is 1/10. Does that make sense? I know it's complicated. So the difference is 1/10. Okay, you can give Avis a point, Emma, for that
That
last.
is pretty tricky.
Yes. So you're just like I was doing here. If you start out with fourths, the spaces in between are going to be eighths because there's twice as many. I know, Ty. Okay? All right, so finish writing that. And I'm going to give you guys your card sort. And you're going to put the cards into 3 piles. Less than half, exactly half, or greater than half. So I'm going to pass those cards out.